describe.
The British General Howe expected Washington's army to retire for the winter. It's an interesting notion. Armies in those days didn't fight in the winter. It simply was too difficult. They waited until spring. But on the day after Christmas, 1776, here at Trenton, New Jersey, Washington did what everyone would have thought was impossible. Here's how and why it happened. The morale of the American army that winter was terribly low. It had suffered one disaster after another. Finding it absolutely necessary to raise the spirits of his army, Washington gave the order to attack. With 3 days' provisions and 40 rounds per man, the army marched through the winter countryside. About midnight, when they reached the Delaware River, a violent storm engulfed them, driving snow and hail. Under cover of the storm, they crossed the Delaware and surprised and captured the Hessian garrison here at Trenton. The battle itself was short. 3 regiments of German mercenary troops surrendered to what largely had to be a bayonet attack because the thoroughly soaked American muskets generally could not fire. The weather caused the only deaths in the American army. 2 men froze to death on the march. 8 days later at Princeton, Washington's amateur army, inspired by its victory at Trenton, drove the British back toward New Brunswick with heavy losses. With the victories of Trenton and Princeton behind him, Washington now consented to take his troops into winter quarters. Yet the victory seemed so small, and the might of England was so great. I talked with Professor Peter Maslowski of the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. I asked him, what was the significance of the battles of Trenton and Princeton?
Ryland, I think in order to actually understand the significance of those battles, they need to be set within the context of the entire 1776 campaign. It has to be remembered that the British made their maximum effort of the war in 1776. Never again did they make such a great effort in North America as they made in 1776. And as you know, the campaign originally went very well for the British. They drove Washington out of New York City. They drove him all the way across New Jersey, forced him across the Delaware River and into Pennsylvania. It looked as if the revolutionary cause was just about ready to collapse. Fortunately for the colonial cause, for the colonists, for George Washington, the bitter winter weather caused Howe to order his regiments into winter camp. And many of those regiments were scattered in outposts, such as Trenton and Princeton, throughout New Jersey. So with a desperation, an unorthodoxy born of desperation, George Washington undertakes a winter campaign. He goes after a couple of these scattered little outposts, and he wins these 2 little victories. They're skirmishes, really, but he wins them. And Howe, twice stung in these battles, scared of further successes by the colonists, withdraws all of his garrisons from almost all of New Jersey, which means at the very end of the 1776 campaign, the British control New York City, and they control Newport, Rhode Island, and that is it. And certainly, those are only minimal gains for England's maximum effort.